Yes, welcome everybody. Hello, my name is Daniel Slocky. I am the man behind the scenes here on Wednesdays with William. I'm excited today. We have an international fitness expert with us here today to answer all of your questions. And speaking of questions, you've all been talking in the chat so far, which is fantastic. But once again, in the Q&A portion, down at the bottom, make sure you get in your questions for our very special guest and access all of the wealth of knowledge that she has to give us here today, all about staying and being healthy for now and forever. So here we go. But once again, welcome, ladies and gentle people. He currently travels the world virtually, helping men and women create their own signature style. He's a red carpet stylist and celebrity makeup artist, international runway model, author, and creator of Billy's Blues Cosmetics. Please welcome Mr. William Squire.
How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, it is a beautiful sunny day here in Hermosa Beach, and you know, I couldn't be happier.
Good. Well, thank you for being here with us. It's just, it's so funny how, you know, when we did the show every week, it was so wonderful. And now we have these breaks, and we did one last week with Kathy, of course. And I was so looking forward to this, but my mind went, oh no, but now we won't get to see each other for another, 3 or 4 weeks. So it's just nice to see you, and thank you for being here. I am excited about today's guest. So if, get your questions ready, because I'm ready to learn. This woman is phenomenal. So anyway, thank you, Daniel, and everybody, welcome. Thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for signing up for the newsletter. We've been getting lots of people signing up for it, and I do appreciate that. You just go to billysblues.com and sign up for it. And that's just, it is a good way for me to stay in touch with you. And then I can send you the links for the shows and any special promotions, that sort of thing. So thank you for that. Also, I've had so many letters come in, and I say letters, I mean emails, but to me, it just sounds better to say letters. Somehow it sounds more glamorous. But I've had lots of emails, people that have gotten the lashes so far and in love with them. And that warms my heart and makes me so happy, because, when I say something's really good and I put my name and I stake my reputation on it, I would hate for somebody to say, no, it really isn't that good, but everybody's written into, they love the lashes. Once they learn how to put them on, they're really having a great time with them. And next month, we are definitely going to do a show. As I mentioned, we're going to see if we can get Mark Freeman on, whose family is the originator of Wonderlash. And we're going to do a whole show about the lashes, and we're going to show pictures before and after and people wearing them. And I'm going to make sure you all know how to put the lashes on. I will actually put a pair on so you can see. So that'll be sometime in August. Of course, we'll let you know on Facebook, social media, but also through the newsletter, we'll let you know when that day is. So thank you for that. Thank you for everything. We've got some exciting new things coming up with Billy's Blues, which I will probably not share yet, but I do have a new campaign we're going to be sharing within a few weeks. Beautiful, beautiful face that we shot that we're very excited to premiere and show you. We have some new products coming out, and we're doing some changes, some exciting changes, which you'll be seeing again on social media over the next week or so. But that business aside, I'm excited about today's show. I've got to tell you, I met Claudia Maui. Many of you know, we had a home on Maui for many years, and probably close to 15 so years ago, maybe even 20 years ago, we went to the Ritz-Carlton. We said, well, we need to get a yoga class going. So we went to the Ritz-Carlton, and here walked in Claudia, this beautiful woman that gave the best class I've ever had in my life. And I've been doing yoga since I was, I think junior high is when I first started. But she was such a light, and I just was so drawn towards her that through the years, of course, not only has she been a trainer and a fitness expert and helped me in so many ways with my own health and my own physical well-being, she's just become such a dear, dear friend. And I'm so excited she could finally sit down in one place long enough to be here for you. So get your questions ready, because she really knows all so well. So I'm so forward to introducing you to her. Claudia, and what does she do? I mean, she does everything. She's a world traveler and speaker. So if any of you have been just about anywhere in the world and you go to like a fitness convention or anywhere they bring in special guests, she's usually there speaking, talking about some form of being healthy or being fit. She is a, oh, there we go. I was gonna say there's another one. I think that was Bangkok or Singapore. I mean, literally anywhere you around the world you go and they talk about health and fitness and the body, Claudia is usually there. Oh, there's another one. What's that one? Was Bangkok or Singapore? Anyway, lots of celebrity clients. She's brought in a lot of celebrities, bring her in even just for a week training, or they actually bring her in to train their trainers. So, you know, she has Hollywood people, she has Fortune CEO company people, she has so many different people. Here she is with baseball legend Joe Torre, but her client list reads on and on and on. I don't know how she has time to do it all. Part of the perks, of course, is she gets to fly these people, and she lives on Maui. So they send their private jets over to her to bring her to wherever in the world where they need some extra training or some help with their bodies. So I'm just so thrilled she's here today with us. Many of you might have seen her in magazines as a fitness model. You see a lot of times when they talk about what's the best form for this, or what's, you know, exercise myth, nutrition. There's Claudia. So again, many of you might have seen her. She's got some videos out, some yoga, powerful mind, powerful body, powerful mind is one of hers. She's a global superstar. I mean, she's known all over the world, and we get to spend some time with her right now. So I'm so thrilled to bring her on. So Claudia, aloha. Can you join us?
Aloha.
And there she is, Claudia Micco. Thank you so much. You look wonderful, of course.
Thank you. Thanks to you and Billy's Blues mascara and blush.
Ooh, well, I love that. We'll just talk about, no, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And how's the day today? You're on Maui, of course. We can kind of see the
It's a beautiful
the
day on Maui. It's trade winds, which means there's lots of breeze, and it's fairly cool. It's probably in the 80s. And it's just another perfect day here in Hawaii. And somebody's knocking on my door, of course. Sorry.
You're very busy.
Next time I have to put a sign up.
Maybe it's Amazon. I don't know.
It could be. It could be.
So Claudia, before we get started, and again, we want to know about you and what you do. How's this last year and a half been for you? Something I kind of asked my guests just to see how you've gotten through it, and looking beautiful, and, you know, looks like you got through it well, but how was it for you?
Well, just like everybody, it was, you know, I had my ups and downs.
Yeah.
I had to pivot very quickly to learn how to teach on Zoom, just like you. I had to learn how to train my clients, because a lot of people, as you know, come here to Maui for these extended vacations, or they have second or third homes here. And I would see them and work with them all the time. But a lot of people, especially people from other countries, they just couldn't get here. So I had to learn to pivot and to do all my work on Zoom. And that has been very interesting and fun. And somehow I'm doing it. And I consider myself a hybrid trainer now. I do instructor training. I do regular fitness training for elderly people, for young people, pretty much everybody. But I do like to focus on over 50 on Zoom, instructors as well. And I go outside every now and then and see clients in some studios at their homes. Most of my clients have beautiful studios in their homes.
Oh, well, that's got to be different for you too, because I know, like, when we've had classes and training sessions, it's funny because you would just come over and you know, we'd be working or something, and with your hand, you just put it like on our back or our neck or somewhere and say, you know, you could almost like tell that's where we were having a problem or tension or whatever it is. So, you know, with you not being able to do any of the hands-on, that must have been incredibly kind of difficult to learn.
You know, interestingly enough, I have techniques to teach people how to figure that out without me having to actually put my hand on them. And that was pretty amazing. I was a massage therapist, or am a massage therapist, for years and years and years. So I understand feeling and sense, and I sometimes can explain it very well, or have them put their hand on their body part, maybe in the same way. But it's been fascinating to be able to look at the screen and be able to correct people without touching them in this new way. And, you know, not being able to walk around them, you know, like a butterfly, or, you know, fly around them to see. So it's been really cool, and still getting great results. And no one's dropped out yet. So that's a good
Well,
thing.
it's what we've got to do. It's what we've got to do. We're still, you know, we're still in the middle of it.
Created a sense of connection during a time when, everybody was disconnected from each other. We were alone together, a lot of us, right? I'm single, right? So I mean, I could say this frankly, not only single, but going through menopause all during COVID. So I don't know if it was better that I was alone or not, but I can tell you that it was a wave, and I just rode the wave. I just figured I'm just gonna ride this, and it's been great.
Yeah, as you say, we've spoken. Your attitude's been wonderful during it all. So I'm so glad that, and I did get to see you just a few weeks ago, and I'm so thrilled, and you're looking wonderful. And so Claudia, tell us a little bit. So New Jersey, a few years ago, right? Tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Okay, born and raised in New Jersey. Hi, Mom and everybody, because you know my family's watching. Typical, and Gloria, hi, she's my mentor. Born and raised in New Jersey. And when I was a teenager, I think I was about 15, I was in a very bad car accident that I was a passenger in a drunk driving accident, like before Mothers Against Drunk Driving, back in the days when, you know, we just did that. And I got really, really damaged, surgeries in the hospital for long periods of time. But I got into physical therapy. And once I started doing these exercises and I started to see like, wow, like I'm getting better. And I was walking quickly. Everybody was like, oh, you know, you can't do that. You can't do this. And I'm like, no, I can do this. So it was the combination of doing that therapy and then realizing that I could heal myself, not just myself, but obviously with the help of doctors and surgeons, will put myself back together. And then I got into the exercise, I got into aerobics, and left New Jersey when I was about 18. There was a man involved, but I did end up, I went to Hawaii and I did a training called Strong, Stretched, and Centered, which in the time, it was an 8-week mind-body fitness instructor training in Maui, in the jungle, in Haiku. Literally, there was no phones, obviously no internet, no mail. You know, we were lucky to get off the property. It was amazing. It completely changed my life. We did yoga, we did Tai Chi, we did aerobics, we did weights, we did group therapy, we did all kinds of fun stuff. And it changed my life and it gave me direction after that car accident, because before that, I was having a little bit too much fun in life, partying, and I could see myself going in a direction that I probably shouldn't go. And intervention, that accident was divine, and it changed my life. So, and it did leave me with a little bit of PTSD, which is another specialty that I have, which I didn't know about till later. It was a real thing. Many years later, I realized that post-traumatic stress was a big issue in my life from that accident.
Oh my gosh. And then aerobics kind of came around. This would have been, when did we do aerobics? I think I was going to wear a headband.
It was the 80s.
But I couldn't find
sure there's a picture.
Yeah, there was definitely the 80s with the aerobics, right?
I started teaching aerobics in 1984.
Yeah. And aerobics, as far as the general idea of aerobics, I mean, it was, I don't know, it was so new and fun, and we all went and we
dance, exercise.
Yeah. Was it a good thing? I mean, is aerobics a good thing? Was that a great?
So I think the aerobic dance was a great way to, first of all, it helped women really establish themselves in the fitness industry. It gave women who had nothing better to do, not nothing better to do, but maybe were restless during that time, maybe the late 70s, early 80s, a sense of accomplishment. They could go out, they could have a job, they learned how to do jazzercise. So there was that part of it where it helped women to establish themselves as, you know, people who do things and make money and not just stuck it, you know, as a secretary. So it started that, but it also started with the Jane Fonda, and she really got women and men. And then you had Richardson. So it started kind of back then with a few leaders in aerobic dance. So it was like, most of my friends were jazz dancers. I took tons of dance classes, you know, jazz, Fosse, modern, African, just to learn how to do aerobic dance so that you could, you know, make up choreography and stuff. So we went in that phase. And then I got into weights because I learned that lifting weights was way more important than, not way more important, but just as important as aerobic dance and working your heart, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
And was this in West Coast, or were you still back on the East Coast?
So I was on the East Coast. I was in New Jersey, and I worked at a little women's health club I didn't have any training at all. I looked really good in my leotard, and they provided the training for me, which was amazing. It's just very simple training. We used to have cards, and it was like jazzercise. We used to just follow the
Yeah.
cards. And again, I got really interested, and then I went to Hawaii, and that's where I studied. And then I moved to San Francisco, and then I spent about 7 years in San Francisco from about 1985, the late 80s, 85 until about 1992. And I loved
Okay.
San Francisco. So, and that was the place for fitness, especially back then. And that's how I got into the modeling and weightlifting and the bodybuilding and the health and wellness. Nobody really wanted to do yoga in the 80s. It was very unpopular. As a matter of fact, people used to walk out of my classes. So I
Did they
had to.
really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did.
And then how long
Sorry.
have you lived on Maui?
On and off since 1994 or 5. See,
Oh my,
now that's what, then you start, I know. But I did live in Germany as well, which we will talk about a little bit. And that was amazing. And I've lived in Mexico, and I've lived in a few different places, but I love to travel.
yeah. Well, Claudia, let me just, I mean, you know so much, and what I love about you too is you always study. It's always like you're taking, it seems like, a course, or if you don't know something, you're getting another degree or another something. So, you know, a lot of us don't know a lot, as you know. I mean, we just hear so many things, and at one point you could just kind of look things up, but I mean, now there's so many different. Before we move on, can we just talk a little bit about just kind of general health and some of the myths and some of the ideas that, you know, give me your opinion on, because these are things
Okay.
that as I'm reading and I'm learning and I'm trying to get my own kind of my health and my fitness on a track again after this last year and a half. I don't know if this is true or not. So I read all the time because of the COVID-10. Some of us are COVID-15, but you know, so I'm reading and you're figuring, so what's the best way? And I hear all the time, it doesn't matter what I eat. It's really only the amount of calories that I eat. And so I'm thinking, does that mean we stick to amount of calories, and does it matter if we eat 1,500 calories all in chocolate or 1,500 calories all in vegetables? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
Talk about that.
The short answer is yes, and the long answer is no. The long answer is it depends. The long answer is really, you need to eat a wide variety of foods, and especially if you're over 50, you have to have that lean protein. You can't get it through chocolate as much as you want that. It's not going to happen. Or ice cream. So, but here's the thing: 80% of the time, eat healthy, lean protein, lean kinds of meat, vegetables, obviously, that you like. Rice, it's okay to eat rice, and it's okay to eat carbs. You just don't want that to be a majority of your eating, right? So vegetables, yes. Fruits, yes. All of the good things that we know about, yes. The reason why is your body, when you eat chocolate and you eat 1,500 calories of chocolate, there's no nutrition in that. So your body's cells, if your cells were talking to you, they'd be saying, please help. I need some nutrition. I need some iron. I need some, I need all these things. I need some vitamin D. And that's where we get into trouble, because you're starving your cells. Now, that's not a good thing, because then you end up, even if you ate 1,500 calories, you may lose the weight, but you're still going to see problems in other areas because you're not getting the nutrients that you need. So it's important to also remember this. When you go to places like McDonald's and this fast food, processed food, there's no nutrients. And if you can imagine your body trying to tell you something like a baby needing food, it doesn't have a language to explain it to you. But trust me, your body doesn't understand what a hamburger from McDonald's does in the body, and it's going to be very confused. So you want to eat foods that your body understands and can really assimilate.
And what about vitamins? Do you think most people, it's a good idea to take extra vitamins?
I think for most people, yes. And of course, you have to ask your doctor about that. I was surprised to find out, even with all the good things that I do, that I was deficient in B and C and D, which now I found a gal, and this is one of my products. These are like, you put them on your tongue. So it forces me to do it because I hate to swallow pills. So
and that's vitamin D.
It was interesting
spray?
to find that out. Yeah, my friend sells them. I can tell you later. But these are amazing. I got C, I got B, I got sleep, and that's why I wanted to show you these, because it's one way that I can get these extra vitamins in without having to take like massive amounts of pills.
Oh,
And fish oils are really important too, as well.
right.
Oils and protein, especially
Sure.
protein and fat, and carbohydrates. I'm going to put my other earbud in. Does that answer your question?
No, yeah, absolutely, you did. Okay, here's another one that you hear. They say that stretching can help prevent injuries by being limber. Is that true? Is that another
exactly.
yes? Oh.
That's another yes and no question. Studies are showing, so we used to do a lot of stretching. There's different kinds of stretching. There's rhythmic stretching, and then which you move a little bit, and then there's static stretching, which implies in the name static, you're holding a stretch, right? There's various kinds of stretching. Studies are showing that if you stretch before you exercise, you're actually going to lose power for your actual exercises that you're going to do. So if you stretched before you were going to lift weights, you may not lift as heavy a weight in that particular area. So stretching in the beginning, first you would want to warm up by doing whatever activity that you do at a light pace. So if you're going to go for a run, for example, you walk. You don't need to do the stretching before necessarily. You could do some mobility drills, but I would suggest doing all of those deeper stretches and those relaxing things at the end. And then once your body's nice and calm, also your nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, all of your muscles, and the rest of your body can just relax at the end. And that's really a good thing for stretching. Stretching helps you to relax the nervous system. Okay. And that's a great thing for all of us.
I know I ran into a guy once at a party, and he was 95. And I said, what's your secret? He said, well, I just touch my toes every day. He said, as long as I can touch my toes. That was like his secret. So
right. And that's the secret is, it's not about it's good or bad. It's when it's like a doctor. They're going to give you a pill, let's say because exercise is medicine, right? Think of it as a prescription, right? You come to me, I'm going to write you a script, right? Except I can't give you pills. So you're not going to get Xanax. You're going to get meditation. You're going to get stretching. You're going to get hypnosis. You're going to get that kind of prescription. If your prescription is your doctor says, hey, my heart, I need to do stuff for my heart because now I'm on blood pressure medication, then we're going to give you a script for that, not stretching. So movement is important in the whole grand scheme of things. So here's my advice is if you like stretching and that's all you want to do and that's all you're willing to do, then do that. Do anything. If that means touch your toes once a day, do that.
Just get moving. And that's changed too. I know at one point they used to say it had to be like a 45-minute continuous exercise, but now doctors, I think, or people in your industry are saying, just get moving, even if it's 20 minutes a day or 10 minutes here and there. It's that as long as you're moving, right, and just do something every day.
Correct.
Yeah. What about
it's great. Studies are amazing. They show that interval training also, short bursts of energy throughout the day can be much more beneficial than long workouts.
So that would be like from me going from the couch to the refrigerator like 6-7 times a day.
But you got to run. Yeah, but you got to run.
Okay. And speaking of, what about East-West? I mean, people talk about Western medicine, Eastern medicine. Obviously, I would imagine that the combination is, and you have so many clients I know that come to you with health issues. I'm sure that you're telling them to follow doctor's advice, but then also add what you do as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Most of the people that I see, a lot of times they come to me as like the last resort person. Everybody will try to help me fix my back or whatever it is, and we're going to try this person. And I have a combination of things that I use, but I always like to get films. If somebody's really injured, they have severe arthritis or something like that, I like to get the information from their doctor personally so that I can help them with more rather than just guessing. I'll have more information to help them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of that, oh, Daniel, I even have a slide. It's funny, Claudia. We're going to take a break from it. I want to talk to you about
okay.
Because you've learned so much. I mean, that's what I loved about, like you say, when you teach a class or you work with somebody, it's not just about, okay, let's, drop weight or let's build your muscle. It really is, the body so well. And I mean, I know you've studied this, you work with the body, and talk a little bit about arthritis and talk a little bit about osteoarthritis, and just a little bit about if there's something we should do and can do for that, because a lot of us are getting that, and a lot of us have it, I think.
Yes, and it's very common to get it when you, especially over a certain age. So for example, definitely over 50, you're going to find most people have it somewhere in their body. Arthritis, osteo means bone, right? And arthritis means inflammation, right? So an inflammation in that area around the bone or in the joint, for example. So anywhere in that area. So for example, I can give you my example. Severe hip arthritis. As you know, I was diagnosed about 8 years ago or 9 years ago, and they said, "Oh, you're too young." Da 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 da. And of course, I want to do a hip replacement, and I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute." So what can I do? Right here, I am this person. I should know everything. I'm helping other people, and here I am with hip arthritis. You know, and then the first thing is, what did you do wrong to get that arthritis? How do you fix it? So I learned, yes, about a few things. Number one is movement, key. You've got to keep the joint moving. The problem with arthritis is when you're inflamed, and this is when you're in pain, you don't want to move. And it becomes a vicious circle. So you don't move, and then you get weak, right? And then you move, and then you re-injure yourself. And then you stop moving, and then you start moving again, and you re-injure. So every time that tissue gets more and more fragile and damaged in the joint. And of course, there's other factors as well. Some of it can be, you know, what you're eating. And you can take medications. Again, it depends a little bit on your age and what your doctor says is going on with you. But yes, I work with a lot of arthritis and inflammation. That's what it is, osteoarthritis.
And if you have it, I know Gary gets it in his fingers, and I get it in one finger. And they said it's so weird for someone in their 30s to be getting arthritis, but ooh, right over. Yeah, roll your eyes. I don't blame you. But anyway, so when it's sore, you just want to keep moving it, right? So I mean, honestly, though they're sore, you just want to keep moving it and keep moving it.
Yes, and like I said, it's a vicious circle because you feel your nervous system, right? What do? Typically, we run away from pain and we run towards pleasure. That is human nature. So if I have a pain in my leg, guess where I'm going to go? I'm going to the couch with my chocolate, right? With your chocolate, because I don't want, you know, I feel like I don't want to move, but that's the wrong thing to do. The thing to do, the best thing to do is to just walk. If it's your hip, if it's your hands, you know, you move your hands and you get that fluid going, but you have to make sure that you're not so inflamed. And that's something that I work with people very, very deliberately, consistently, and personally, because it's such a personal thing. It could be in one joint. It could be like whack-a-mole. You can ask my clients, you know, whack-a-mole, that game you used to play at the carnival where you hit the thing? That's how some of the arthritis or some injuries are. You hit that one, you get that one fixed, and then it pops up over there. You get that one fixed and it pops up somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think they do say that. I know going for a walk sometimes can really help. I even read about if you have a cold or just to get out and do that, or to, you know, I know with Laura, you know, our creative director who works with both of us, when she had her her vaccination shot, I remember calling and just saying, "Uh-oh, how are you?" She's like, "Oh, you know, not great, but I'm going to go out and walk." And then, you know, she calls an hour later, says, "Well, I feel 100% better." So sometimes I think you're right. We do run from it, where we have to go towards it.
We have to run towards it because our body likes it. Our mind has projections and problems from usually our past experience with exercise, right? If you had bad experiences, let's say it really is uncomfortable. I mean, let's face it. It's not fun for most people. Most people don't like it. It hurts, right? It's not like, but what I like to do is because I like to train their mind so that they learn how to enjoy it and how to want to come to the next session. And the way that we learn that is really by almost a hypnosis, in a sense, of understanding that after we're done, how we're going to feel, what are the benefits. And then we keep telling ourselves, hey, you know, I feel better. It's 12 o'clock. I did a walk at 8. I should remember this tomorrow, so that when I am going to want to go sit on the couch, I'm going to grab my shoes instead. I'm going to go for a walk. So a lot of it is trying to get past the old negative experiences and try to create new positive memories of exercise so that we can continue it through our future and change our program as we get older, as our bodies change. If we have an injury, how do we work around it so that we don't have to stop moving?
And is that really that? Because whenever you Google your name or you learn about hypno fitness comes up a lot. Is that something that is that what you're talking about right now? The
So I am talking about hypnosis a little bit. I do want to get back to the arthritis in a second. Hypnosis. I'll tell you really quick. In the 1990s, I wanted to stop being a trainer. I was just done. I was mad that people weren't following. I made all these great programs and do this nutrition thing and got this great program for you, and they don't want to do it. They cancel this and that. This and that, they cancel. So I randomly took this 250 hour, I think it was 250 hour hypnosis course, the first one that I took for 200 hours. And it completely changed my mind about quitting, because what I realized was that the problem wasn't so much them, it was me. It was me not being able to give them that information in a way that they could use it and be successful with it. Because, you have to understand how you accept information. And that was one of the things that I really got from that training, is this is how I can retrain and help people enjoy something that maybe isn't very much fun.
Wow. There's so much. I have so many questions. Okay, one more thing.
But it's not like I'm putting you into I'm not going to make you quack like a duck necessarily. But if you want to, we can.
Okay.
It's been known to happen.
So somebody says, okay, I really want to start exercising. I really want to start getting healthy. I need to do something. What do you tell them? I mean, obviously you work with them, you talk, find out what their goals are. But I mean, if somebody we've got an audience today, would it be just get moving, start walking, watch your diet? I mean, really, as far as getting healthy, what would it be?
Well, we want to get our immune systems healthy. So the first thing is to start moving, period. And the reason why is our lymphatic system, right? Everybody knows about lymph nodes, right? In your arms and your hips. The only way that we can heal and stay healthy and keep our immune system healthy is to have a strong lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is what drains toxins out of your body, right? It helps to dilute toxins, for example, and move them through the system. And the way that we do that is by moving where those lymph nodes are. Because when you stimulate the lymph, the muscle and the contractions push the fluid up. On its own, the lymphatic system doesn't really do that great a job of filtering, but with movement, it does an excellent job, right? So I look at that. I look at okay, let's get them moving. And of course we have to find out what their history is. But typically, very simply, start walking, even if it's just, 15 minutes or 10 minutes back and forth or up and down the stairs. Any little bit of activity is really valuable. Walking, you can count. I count, 14 steps up, 14 steps down. It's like, it can be kind of obsessive, but it gives you something to feel like you've accomplished something to feel some gratitude for.
Right. No, that.
So that's where I start people. If they don't want to do anything, okay, just walk. Yeah. I'll walk with you. If they don't like that, then I have to prescribe something that they're going to do, because it doesn't help them if they don't do it, right?
Right, you've got to do it. Daniel, I have a couple slides I just want to show if I can real quick. Because Claudia, you do, not only do you lecture and you train, obviously the yoga is where I met you, and your yoga is amazing because of for me, I love it because I like the idea when you're working, you'll say you're giving your internal organs a massage, or you're working on the system, or how often do we have our head below our heart, and all of that. To really, it makes such sense to me, and I really love it. How important, and then you do Pilates as well, I know. So and I know sometimes you do kind of a mixture of it all. Do you have a favorite? I know that's not even a fair question.
They're like children. Yeah. My favorite, okay, my favorite personally is, if I could do something every day, I would probably dance. I didn't do a lot of dancing. Weightlifting is something I really love, and I think that it's really important for keeping muscle. So those two things, like dancing, moving for me personally, and lifting weights are my two favorites. However, I do all of those things with the intention of yoga, with the flow of Tai Chi, yeah, and the consciousness of Pilates, you know, where you are very directed.
You are an inspiration. All right, here's a couple of your clients that you got permission to share with us. So what did they come to you with physical problems? Did they just want to reshape their bodies, or what was your goal and what was their goal? Because before and after, it's really amazing.
This lovely, we were together for a few months during the pandemic before she had to go into the Israeli army. She's a wonderful woman. And she had a hip issue that nobody could figure out, lots and lots of pain. And it was really hindering her from doing much. And she had put on some weight. And we did a lot of things. We did weights, we did Pilates, we did a lot of nutritional work, because you're not going to lose weight by just doing exercise. You have to do something on that nutritional side. So she really was a great candidate for doing the nutrition work at the same time we were doing her hip work, so that she could get, you know, the success that she wanted, because the exercise stuff was a little more limited.
Yeah.
So she did really well, and she lost quite a bit of weight, and you can see from her pictures and that was just a few months. I think that was just a couple of months.
Wow, that's beautiful. And this gentleman, another client, obviously came to you, and
yeah. So this is a lovely. We used to go to his house. He just moved. He lost a bunch of weight twice a week only, and this was all he did, was just training with me. We did a same thing, combination of some strength training. We did a combination of Pilates, and he had lumbar, very bad lumbar spine, which is your lower back, very bad lower back problems, and hip displacement, and some other problems that we worked around. And again, in order to change and get those changes, you have to kind of figure out what those other problems are and try to work around them. Otherwise, you'll just keep re-injuring. So that's how he ended up losing all the weight. And he did do some nutrition too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm talking about success stories.
He's a wonderful person.
And Pilates, it's funny, you don't really have to do, like you say, to move every day. But I know I spoke with Susan, who's a friend of most of us, Susan Stein, who I think are familiar with. I don't think you've had the pleasure of meeting her, but I'm sure you will. But she said she's been doing Pilates twice a week. So it's not like this huge 2 hours a day, but twice a week. She's been doing it for a few months now. She said she can't believe it's a different body, you know, and it's amazing what just that will do.
It's the mind-body connection. It really is. Your mind is a huge player in what happens. And we're finding out more and more and more that, okay, now I would love to be able to think myself young and fit and all that. It doesn't quite work that way. But there is definitely research that shows that when you work out, if you are concentrating, you will have a better neurological response to the activity. Now, there are times when you want to disassociate. And what I mean by that is you want to go for a walk, you want to put your earbuds on, and you don't want to think about what your body's doing, which is also very valuable. The Pilates work would be something with a little more like a mastery or associative, where you really are 100% in there, and you want to master that movement. And that's why you don't have to do so much, because everything you're doing is, you know, 100% mind and body for a period of time. So it does make, and it makes quite a difference. I see it all the time.
Yeah. So
and you don't have to lift heavy weights.
So mind, body, soul, is that what you're speaking of? Because I know that's something else that, you know, like when you're Googling you or you find out about Claudia, there'll be this mind, body, soul, mind, body, soul. Is that what you're talking about? It's just connecting?
Yeah, connecting. I mean, well, look, the mind is in every cell of your body, right? I mean, the only problem is your cells speak German and you understand English, right? So my job is to be the translator, right? I try to help you translate what your body's telling you that you don't understand into something that you can understand and that you can gain mastery of and control of, and then understand that, hey, this day I need to eat this way, or my legs hurt today. Maybe Claudia, we need to do something different. Or, you have to do these little workarounds, especially when you get older. I mean, when I was younger, you could do anything, work out twice a day and, go out. 54, 55 now. I got to pick and choose.
Now tell me a little bit about, we chatted the other day about sarcopenia, right?
Sarcopenia.
Yeah, no, I think I have a slide there too.
I love this.
I mean, this is so interesting to me, Claudia. This is so important. So the debilitating effects of sarcopenia, right?
Yes.
Is it penia or penia?
Penia, and there's always a good way to remember that word. Penia.
Okay. So what does this mean? What does
this mean? So you can see the picture of the baby, and then you see the picture of the person with the cane.
Right.
Throughout the course of our life, right, our cells are, growing and changing and moving and all that. They're doing this and that and everything else. Human beings lose 0.5% of their muscle mass per year after the age of 40. And that is just regardless. Now you can try and stop that with, strength training and doing things for your muscles to strengthen them. The increases though, and that's just like muscle disappearing. That's how I think of it. It's like sarcopenia is just a natural part of the aging process. It just is like, how you notice, oh, wow, I don't have as much mass in the front of my legs, for example. That's where you really notice it as you get older, around the front of the knees and thighs, the leg strength. After the age of 50, that increases to 1 to 2%, right? Per year. That's a lot of muscle mass to lose, right? And then it accelerates to 3% after the age of 60. And that's where it really, that's why you see, and you'll feel, if you're a little bit older and you're watching this, you'll notice, like if you're sitting on a hard chair, maybe you feel your bones more, for example, even if you may be overweight somewhere else in your body. There's different ways that sarcopenia manifests itself depending on the person's genetics. Does that make sense? So that's why I encourage people, especially women, men too, but women, because women don't have testosterone. And that's the reason why women, if you lifted heavy weights, you're not going to build that big muscle the way that you see in magazines. And there's a lot of, there's a little bit of testosterone help, a little chemical help there. I encourage people to weight lift starting early in your 20s and your 30s. And if you didn't do it then, just start whenever you can. With strength training, it can be your body weight. It can be anything. You can even like do isometrics, but anything where you're really overloading that muscle to fatigue a little bit.
What muscle do you think is least worked or needs to be worked more? Do you think it's the core? That's true. Whole other show there. But no, I mean, is there like the back, or do you think it's more just like a thigh, or is it a muscle you need to wear up?
That's a good question. There's too many. It's like children. The least worked muscle, I think it's your butt. I do, and I could be wrong. And my friends who are watching this, we can argue about this. However, your buttocks muscle, most people sit a lot, and it's in that relaxed state all the time. Right. So I would say that the hips, the buttocks muscles, the thighs are where you really start to see that happen. And remember, leg strength is an indicator of health. So that's why you want to keep your legs strong, not just your arms, but your legs too.
Yeah, and that's why I love when we take class or I train with you. I love that, and when we do yoga, different things, it's so interesting how many muscles we don't use. I mean, in a day, I mean, you'll turn and you'll say stretch, and I go, I can't do this, or I don't know this movement, or, but then it's just muscles, and then you feel them, you go, oh, I do have muscles there. I do have muscles. It's so fascinating, and it's such a good feeling,
It's it's like going on a road, right? Or going on a road that hasn't been traveled in a while, right? You need to use your machete first to get the weeds out of the way, right? And then eventually you pave it and you move. That's how the brain and the muscles work. The first time you do things, it's like machete. The brain's trying to figure out how to make that happen. Over time and practice, the connection gets better and quicker. And that's a really important thing because we want to keep our ability to move and be agile. The ability to move quickly and easily in different directions is agility. And agility is something that I notice people losing, as well as myself, as I've gotten past the 50 age mark. Moving quickly and safely, right? So not just moving around haphazardly, but moving with intention, safely. I don't want to fall. I can't afford to break my wrist. Can I tell you how many friends of mine who are just in their 60s breaking their wrists all the time or having low bone mass? And some of that's genetic, and some of that we can help by doing strength-specific strengthening.
And probably, I'm assuming, like you say, some's genetic, but some of that could be diet, right?
Well, if you're not eating the amount of food you need to eat to grow your muscles and to stay healthy, then yes. But again, it's very individual. So again, I try to say 80% of the time you're eating healthy, you're having healthy food, medium amounts of fat, good amount of protein and carbohydrates, and then 20% of the time, have a good time. Go to dinner, have some wine. If you're going to have the wine, don't have the potato kind of thing. If you're going to have the wine, don't have the dessert. There's all these little tricks. You're not destined, to be unhealthy if you don't want to be. It really is just a matter of wanting and then taking those steps to practice. And it takes time to retrain. Anything we love now, we might not have liked at some point in our life.
Sure.
Right?
Do you drink a lot of water during the day?
I wish I drank more. I am trying. I will admit you the truth. I
So
love
that
coffee.
goes to health, but also skin, so I'm always wondering.
I know, and that's what we're going to talk about too, about skin.
Your skin looks
You got to
great.
drink the water.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So according to my mother and Gloria, who's probably watching this right now, I should have been wearing sunscreen a long time ago.
Yes.
So I was a surfer for a long time. I got a lot of sun. I used to go down to the beach. I have a lot of skin issues. And I tell you, I wish if you're younger and you're not, don't get so much sun. I sound like my grandmother now.
We have been
Should
talking
get things
about
burnt
that.
off.
We have been talking about that. Hey, I have some slides that I want to show because as you know, I love to cruise and so much of my audience loves to cruise. So Claudia, so you were cruising. I mean, you were doing as a special guest star. I think the next slide shows you. You were a celebrity guest.
Back in the day.
You would do like these celebrity cruises where you would go into like a 7-day, 14-day fitness, right? Like a daily class.
Yeah. I did that, and I did longer ones that I don't have pictures of, unfortunately. That was
on deck outside.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
so that's and this you're going to put the next picture of, I bet. It's going to show the fashion.
Oh, I love this. Claudia, the 80s called, they want it all back. They want the leotard, they want the hair, they want the makeup, the asymmetrical haircut.
Tell me, do we look like Easter eggs or what? I mean,
what
that is an
Easter.
That is
who thought it was a good idea to cut someone's hair like 6 inches shorter on one side?
My friend Sal, by the way. So I'm pointing at that picture of, see that beautiful, there are two beautiful women aside me. One is Elizabeth Kinney, who she's the, I think she might still be the director of the Oaks in Ojai. And that's Sheila Clough, who for many years used to run cruise. She just recently, unfortunately, passed away last November. But if you went on the Norway or you did any of those fitness cruises, you might have seen her. Or if you ever went to the Oaks in Ojai or the Palms, she used to have the Palms in Palm Springs. And that's how I met them. And that's how I got my beginnings of my cruising. And then I worked for the Golden Door, and I did cruise with the Golden Door too.
Tell me you still have that leotard or that headband somewhere.
No. I think that one, I probably trashed it, right? I believe that we didn't like the outfits. And I was so glad I didn't have to wear the bottoms with that pattern back then. Oh my goodness.
Claudia, that's
a fashion nightmare right there.
Well, I'm going to do a whole show on fashion nightmares. So Claudia, you and I sit and talk and I could talk all day. But let me open up, Daniel. I'm sure we've got some questions, and I cannot believe how fast we've got to do Wednesdays with William for like 3 hours when we have someone like Claudia on, because I'm just like, I want to know so much more.
Exactly. There is so much information, and I was an athlete my entire life, and so it's been nice to hear a lot of this stuff, because a lot of the general public doesn't get to hear some of these things, and I say general public, but people that don't get privy to a high level of this knowledge that is being offered to them. And so it's really great to hear, everybody getting a chance to hear this stuff too. And again, it's just a lot about movement and mindset. We have a lot of people in the chat talking about how they've taken your Zoom classes as well, and it felt like you've been right there with them. And your mom has been shouting out in the chat as well here too. No, but it really just is about moving. And I want to kind of start off, because a lot of times, there are things in your life that happen that are uncontrollable, like you said, yourself having an accident at a very young age. But Fran is talking about being diagnosed with osteoarthritis, and she did a lot of these things during the 80s, but now it's a lot of years since, and on top been diagnosed with cervical stenosis and lumbar stenosis, and arthritis in knees and hips, and herniated discs and all kinds of things. And she's been going to see doctors and things like that, and they've been telling her a lot of great things what she's been doing. And she had a fall, and so she's just now starting to get back up on the and starting walking and things like that, and getting out. But what are some other other things that you can suggest that a doctor might not say? They give you a few different things, but somebody that has a compounding stack of issues that maybe had a fall, to really kind of help get back and on the train again.
Yeah, well, of course, you always have to have knowledge of when you're in pain and when to move, like we talked about earlier. When somebody's inflamed and they have arthritis and they're in pain, it's not always best to move right then, but to find those times when it's best to move, right? When you're not in pain. One of the things a doctor will not tell you, and this is one of my secret weapons with arthritis, with disc problems. With disc problems, you don't want to do a lot of bending forward and back, so you're a little limited in the beginning. But strengthening the hips really help the buttocks muscles. My secret weapon here for arthritis, and it's called a cold laser. And this is a red light here, and some of you may have heard this is used by athletic trainers and physicians and chiropractors and physical therapists, and me as a sports trainer, and really something that heals people. This helps with inflammation. It's red light. I can get you that information. I would recommend going to somebody, a doctor or a physical therapist who has one of these, cold laser, and that will do wonders for the inflammation, so that you can start to do more movement. So with the disc problem, you have to keep the nice upright spine, but I would start walking. I would be doing walking things right away, and making sure if I need to use a cane, I use a cane, or limit the amount of time that I am walking, so that I don't fall. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I'm somebody that you were talking about intention about haphazardly walking. When I'm doing athletic movements, I rarely hurt myself. When I'm walking, sometimes just around the house, that's when I stub my toe, or I, fall down, do something. So it's kind of having that intention a little bit more on a daily basis, and getting your mindset in there too. Do you have any advice on, what's your opinion on acupuncture at all?
So, I've done lots of acupuncture. I like it personally for certain things, like musculoskeletal injuries I've had success with. I think it's kind of a whatever works for you kind of thing. There is a lot of beliefs about it, and I do think that if you believe in something, sometimes that will work really well for you, better than something that you don't believe in. So there is a part of the acupuncture where you do also have to understand what it is, and believe that that system will work for you. So I'm not against it. I'm for it, but of course with reservation.
Yes. And Paul asked, longtime fan of yours and your teaching and instruction style. And you touched on it a little at the very beginning about hypnosis into your classes and session and how does it benefit your clients. Is there anything else that you want to add about, bringing hypnosis in, or maybe something that somebody said after the fact of going through your process of that?
Well, the hypnosis that I do is not the kind of hypnosis that you think. It's called waking hypnosis or alert hypnosis. So waking hypnosis is basically us talking, but when I'm training you, I'm doing it and I'm giving you specific suggestions for you to remember later. And so it ends up coming up where people go, oh, wow, I noticed that I'm doing this when I'm washing my hands now. Or I noticed that when I open the refrigerator, I'm asking myself, am I really hungry? Again, it's the hypnosis that I do is specific and it's waking. So that means that I'm doing it all the time with people, but I'm not like making them bark like a dog. I'm just basically hypnotizing you to do a squat.
I like it, and to like it instead of just doing that.
And
again,
like it, yeah.
It is all about mindset, right? Because there's so many. How many times has anybody ever been you're like, oh, I don't want to exercise, and then you're sitting on the couch, you're like, I'm not going to do it, but you get up and you do something, and afterwards you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did it. It's all about the mind. And imagine what you could do. Imagine what you could do if you had the good mindset going in.
So some tricks, some tricks around that really quick. Hold that thought before I forget this. 54. As you're done with your exercise program, whether you're walking, whatever you're doing, take 5 minutes at the end of it and sit down, or lay down, better yet, close your eyes and visualize yourself going through that whole program again, or visualize yourself being done and feeling great. Or at night before you go to bed, visualize yourself the next day planning your workout, and do it if you can in real time. That would be the most effective. But to do active visualization at the end of your workout, that will set it kind of in stone in your subconscious mind.
And we've got one.
Sorry, William, go.
Oh yeah, William, you were going to say something?
Sorry.
No, I just wanted to, because you know what, Daniel, we have one slide. I just want to make sure we get in because Claudia has been so incredible. I mean, again, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this, Claudia. But Claudia is going to do something special just for us in the Billy's Blues and the Wednesdays with William group. And it's called Lift, Sculpt, Defy. And it's just going to be what is it, Claudia? A 6-week class, right, that we get to take with you Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Hawaii time, right?
Time.
So that would be 9, 10, 11. So 12, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Sometime in through there. Tell us a little bit about it, because I know I'm going to be there. Laura's going to be there. We're going to get Daniel there. I've already got people that can't wait to do this with you. And what they're going to do, and Daniel will help us with this, but I guess they go to your website, or we've got the link below and they can sign up and register. And it's just like, and Claudia, thank you so much. I mean, literally, you're not even, I mean, I know you're charging just such a minimal, it's just like, cab fare, honestly, with what you charge. So thank you so much for that. But tell us a little bit about this before we have to go, because I'm going to be there. So
we are going to lift parts unwanted.
okay.
We're going to sculpt muscles, and we're going to defy aging. And I mean that we are going to use our mind to defy kind of the things that keep us from getting the results we want. What I mean by lifting is I like to look at the parts where people really are having problems, especially in the over 50 population, and find the knees, the thighs. The women really complain about the thighs a lot. The back of the arms, we'll be doing things for that. We'll do a combination of strength type training, body weight training. If people want to use light weights, they can, but you won't have to. And then yoga in a way where you're not stretching so much until the end. So we'll do a lot of yoga at the end, and then we'll do the hypnosis at the end, and nice relaxing, and then some reprogramming to really set everything in. So it'll be a little yoga, it'll be a little strength training, 45 minutes meditation, and visualization and habit change through self-hypnosis.
I am so excited. Well, thank
I
you,
love
Claudia.
music.
This is amazing. And it starts, is the information going to be then on your website? I mean, when do we get to start? Are we starting in a few weeks, or do we have a start date?
Starting on Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday.
Coming Tuesday, yeah. So if you go to my website, the information to sign up will be there, and you'll put the coupon code for William in there, and you'll get a nice discount. And I really want to open up this whole Zoom thing. And the reason why is it's so convenient. There's really no excuse now. You don't have to go in the car, put your shoes on, go to the gym. You don't even have to put your camera on if you don't want to. The beautiful thing about working out online, and I can't believe I didn't do this before, is that you can just show up anyway, and you're accepted, and you can save time, and you can do as much or as little as you want. And that's
And
what I
I'm
love
not,
about
and
it.
I had a couple clients say, we want to come, but we're not going to wear makeup. I'm just telling you right now.
Well, that's what I mean.
Nobody
None of
has
us
to wear
are.
makeup. I'm not looking. Nobody can. I mean, just come and let's just work out a little bit and sweat and just kind of be together for something different for 6 weeks. So I will be there. I will see you next Tuesday. And people
I'm
come
very
to
excited.
your
See you next
website.
Tuesday. Thank you.
And they come to the website and sign up. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me, get a hold of Claudia at the website. But please join me on this. This is going to be kind of a really wonderful 6 weeks of transformation. So I'm looking forward to this.
Sculpt and Defy.
Yes. Oh, and Claudia, there's so much I want to talk. Will you please come back? I want to talk about aging and anti-aging, and there's so much more that we just
aging gracefully.
Yes, we're going to do that. Anyway, I will see you Tuesday morning then. I give you my warmest aloha.
Aloha, everybody. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Thank you, Claudia. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everybody, who's been watching me. I appreciate it. My thought for the day is, I have a slide, one more, Daniel. And it is, don't work out because you need to. Do it because your body deserves love, respect, and healthy attention. So, yeah, I think it says it all. All right, I hope you all join me on Tuesday with Claudia. Otherwise, I will not be here next Wednesday, but we will definitely have a few Wednesdays with William in August. And keep informed with Facebook and through the newsletter. I will let you know when I'll be back. And again, I look forward to seeing you all so very much. And I thank you. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be beautiful.
There's no people like show people. They smile when they are lost.